everybody, Happy New Year! I hope you are all well and have not broken any of your New Year's resolutions yet. I know I have never been good at that, and that is why this year I'm not making any New Year's resolutions, and I'm okay with that. Every year I always just try and make the people around me as happy as possible, and so I guess I do have a resolution, and it can just be to continue to do that. Many of you requested on my update video that I created a bucket list for 2016 and also my travel plans for the year, and I thought that was a mighty fine idea. So in terms of travel plans, my ideas are rough. I don't currently have a flight out of Perth right now, but as I mentioned before, I can't stay here much longer because I'm not on a working holiday visa, I'm not earning money, and so it's just not realistic for me to stay here for a lot longer. I don't feel the need to go back to the UK just yet. Not that I'm opposed to it, but it's just an awful lot of money for a flight back there, and right now it's not a priority. The most realistic thing for me to do, and the thing that I'd like to do, is to get a working holiday visa in New Zealand. I think that I would head straight to Queenstown because it is one of my favourite towns in the whole entire world, and I reckon that could probably be my base for the year. Now, even though it was really a lot of hard work, what I was doing in Sydney actually worked really well for me in that I was working for accommodation and then I had a full-time job on top of that. This allowed me to save, but I did still have time to go out and have fun. The important part there though is saving. Although I really would be living the dream staying in Queenstown the whole year, I'm really not the type of person that likes to stick around the same place the whole year. There is still so much of the world to explore, and it actually stresses me out a bit if I feel like I've been doing the same thing or staying in the same place for too long. So now here comes the bucket list. I don't know how much of this is realistic, but I'm going to try my absolute damn hardest to make it possible. So at the top of my bucket list for 2016 is to learn to snowboard. I think I'm on something like my 4th summer in a row now, and so I think I am finally ready to see some snow. Being based in Queenstown will be perfect for me over their winter or the UK summer. I have thought long and hard about doing a proper ski season and working in a chalet sort of thing, but if I did that, I wouldn't be saving very much money. I'd have to stay there for a certain amount of time. It wouldn't be very flexible, and so I think for me it would be more realistic just to live in the city and then go on excursions skiing as and when I have time and am able to. So I think, and I hope that's the way that that first thing is going to happen. Second thing on my bucket list is to progress my diving qualification. I'd absolutely love to become a dive master. I do know that it does take a very long time though, but if I can at least progress to just advanced or even rescue diver, then I'd be really happy. The third thing on my bucket list is to travel to at least a few countries that I have never been before. A lot of you have mentioned South America and India, and of course I'd love to visit both of these. In particular, I'd love to go to Colombia, Ecuador, Peru and Bolivia, but also really high on my bucket list of countries that I've never travelled to is Malaysia and the Philippines. I've never travelled to either of these. What's good about all these countries that I've just mentioned is that they're all relatively cheap, which is exactly what I'm going for at this point in my life where my income is not huge. A trip to any or a few of these countries I think is definitely more realistic towards the end of the year, and so I do have a bit of time to decide where to go, which is nice. I also think that it might be a good idea to get my scuba diving qualification in one of the new countries so I can, you know, kill two birds in one stone. And the fourth thing, I would really like to do a road trip of the USA. I've mentioned this on one of my banana bucket lists before, and a couple of weeks ago my friend Charles suggested to go to the YouTube event Playlist Live, which is in Florida in April. It was also suggested that this would be followed by a road trip of a bunch of the southern states of America with a load of other YouTubers. I really want to make it happen, and honestly I think if I work hard I can make it work somehow. And the fifth and final thing on my bucket list is to make a trip back home to the UK. I don't know when, I don't know where the money's going to come from, but I do think it is important to go back to base before too long, you know, catch up with your family and friends. You may be absolutely fantastic at contacting them online, via Skype and messaging and stuff, but it's just not the same as enjoying each other's company in person. I'm a long way from London right now, and New Zealand is even further, and return flights to the other side of the world are definitely not cheap, but somehow I'd like to make it happen. And that is it for my bucket list. I know that's only 5 things, but they are 5 rather damn large things, and so if I could complete them all, that would be pretty phenomenal. I do have a really good feeling about this year. I think it has the potential to go so well, and looking back on what I accomplished last year, it's kind of just given me inspiration and motivation, and I've just thought, wow, like, I am capable of so much in 1 year. But what I do know also is that completing everything on my bucket list and accomplishing everything that I want to do is going to require a heck of a lot of hard work. My dreams and goals and #life goals and all that crap is definitely not going to be handed to me on a plate, and for the record, it won't yours either, unless we win the lottery or something, but then we have a different issue on our hands. Are you crying? Are you crying? Unless we win the lottery or something, and then we have a completely different issue on our hands. But I'm going to assume that we're not going to win the lottery right now. I'll still buy a ticket, but this is me being realistic. I'm going to have to work a bunch of 60-hour weeks. I'm going to have to sacrifice nights out sometimes. I'm going to have to sacrifice cheese sometimes. But you know, while I'm young and single and healthy, travel is my priority, and I will go above and beyond to make it work. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and comment below what your aspirations and bucket list is for 2016. I've got so many good videos lined up for January, and I'm really excited to share them with you. I'm not entirely sure what the next video is going to be right now, but whatever it is, I'll see you then. Bye!